Welcome back to the Whirlpool, where fibs and fabrications are pulled under and drowned. I'm Michael Worley. All right, things could be better. The Chinese Wuhan coronavirus outbreak is still creating mass hysteria. State and local officials across the country are ordering citizens to wear masks in a flagrant violation of the rights supposedly guaranteed them by our so-called Constitution. The mainstream liberal media is widely reporting phony polls showing His Excellency President Trump trailing comrade Joe Biden, creating the false impression that President Trump is extremely unpopular. And worst of all, the leader of the One True Church and my brother, Archbishop Novation, has not been seen or heard from in weeks. I admit it. There are plenty of things to worry about, which is why what I'm about to tell you is so important. Relax. Forget about it. Everything is in our Heavenly Father's capacious hands. Do you trust our Heavenly Father? Then take it easy. His Excellency President Trump will take care of the far-right communist chicken chow mein virus. He's nothing if he's not a calm, well-informed, judicious leader. And don't forget that Joe Biden is a Democrat. They're always about 10 seconds away from completely lousing up whatever advantage they might have. And as for the One True Church, while the Archbishop may be absent, we know he's still alive because of the continued Grubhub deliveries that are being made to his personal quarters on the grounds of the Church of St. Veritas. During the Archbishop's self-imposed sequestration, the Church is in the capable hands of Cardinal Crumbum, prefect of the Inquisition. So there's absolutely nothing to worry about there either. My father had an old saying, words of comfort and reassurance that he would always say to me whenever I was nervous, anxious, upset, or a bit too energetic. No matter what the situation was, those words never failed to quiet me down. I'll share them with you now in the hope that they'll help you as they did me. Father would turn to me and say in that booming, manly voice of his, "Just shut up."
Here's what you're missing if you're not listening to the Father Halber Show.
And now it's time for today's top 5 list from the Home Office right here in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Today's topic, top 5 signs Archbishop Novation does not have coronavirus. And here we go. Number 5, wash his hands using only holy water. Number 4, wrap one end of vest mental stole around mouth, boom, instant face mask. Number 3, headache and fatigue, result of constant text messages from doofus little brother, not symptoms of COVID. Number 2, surviving on Grubhub for the last month but hasn't ordered Chinese food once. And the number 1 sign Archbishop Novation does not have coronavirus, because the Inquisition says so.
He's the voice of the people. He's the voice of truth. And you can hear him weekday afternoons only on the voice of the One True Church, WOTC 1700 AM.
Since I've had people asking me this already, let me assure you all, on my sacred honor as a Christian, that I have no idea what is happening right now with my brother, the Archbishop of Wilkes-Barre Novation. We haven't been communicating. I don't know why he has retreated into seclusion or when he will emerge, but like the rest of you, I am more than willing to speculate from a place of love and humble concern for the leader of our church, with nothing but the deepest respect for and obedience to the authority of his mighty office. Unlike the rest of you, I actually know the man behind the vestments. We grew up together. True, Noah is 10 years older than I, and we were never as close as we might have been. While I revered our father, Noah, for reasons which escape me to this day, was always more of a mama's boy. But we still spent our childhoods under the same roof, attended the same schools, and for a time it seemed we even had the same calling. Then Noah decided to abandon his studies of broadcast media arts and become a priest instead. Well, I suppose it worked out all right for him in the long run. That reminds me, this isn't the first time Noah has withdrawn during a time of crisis. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me telling you this story, since he never explicitly told me not to share it publicly. I was 10. Noah was 20. The electronics store our father managed was going through some hard times. He had pledged to only sell American-made Zenith products, but when Zenith betrayed our great nation and sold 5% of the company to the Koreans, my father flew into a righteous rage and destroyed nearly all of his inventory. Only a single 13-inch black and white television escaped his wrath, a television which I still proudly own to this day. Facing economic ruin for his morally justified but financially foolhardy actions, my father hatched an ingenious plan to preserve his prospects. He would make dinner reservations with my mother at one of the most exclusive restaurants in town, and while they ate their meals, surrounded by a dining room full of eyewitnesses, his elder son, Noah, home on vacation from college, would sneak into my father's electronics store, douse it with gasoline, and torch it to the ground. Father would then take the insurance money and rebuild. He hoped to leave the electronics business altogether and open a new store selling products he could rest assured would always be made in the USA, like sporting goods or blue jeans or American flags. My father brought this plan to Noah, but instead of leaping at the opportunity to help rescue our family from bankruptcy, Noah retreated to his room. He refused to speak to anyone for an entire day, surviving on the store-brand sodas and tube of chocolate chip cookie dough he kept in his mini fridge. When he emerged, he rejected our father's plan for assistance and announced he was leaving college to attend the seminary and become a priest in the one true church. It was a devastating moment for me, personally, as I had always dreamed that my brother would become a local TV news personality, and then one day I would follow in his footsteps, and we would become the first brothers to ever co-anchor the 6 o'clock news on WOTC Channel 67. Instead, that honor went to Mark Fairsing and his brother Lloyd, who, some of you may remember, was 2 weeks into his stint as co-anchor of the news at the time of his on-air spontaneous combustion in 2007. But it all turned out for the best. In the end, my father found someone else to help him torch the store. I'm not saying who. And he got the insurance money. Instead of rebuilding, he sold the store to some out-of-town investors and settled into retirement for the final years of his life. My brother did become a priest and eventually rose through the ecclesiastical ranks to become a cardinal and ultimately the Archbishop of Wilkes-Barre. My mother is still alive. And me, I'm right here. The same place I have been for the longest time. The same place I will always be. For the Whirlpool, I'm Michael Worley.